Welcome to the FWA review. The title race certainly hotted up over the Christmas break, so I'm delighted to be joined by Steve Bates, who has known Manchester United man and boy, 35 years, over 35 years of experience, and even wrote the programme and used to go on the team bus. I'm just going to see if we can zoom in and get a shot of that fantastic mullet. Steve Bates should never just start joking about a photo that was put in a programme 2 weeks ago
backfired on
and not expect me to hold him up to it. We're speaking to you today because we have a big encounter coming up. It's Pochettino against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's Tottenham against Manchester United. It could be crucial for Tottenham in the title race, but obviously one of the biggest jobs in the game, and everyone's talking about this as an encounter. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, other than the feel-good factor, we're getting rid of that. What has he brought to this side?
Well, I think he's bringing his own personality. I mean, the team are playing in a way that he was taught to play. Obviously, we all know that people are crying out for United to be more offensive, more on the front foot, more attacking. I think Wayne Rooney tweeted to Solskjaer when he took over, wishing him the best of luck, and ended with 3 words: attack, attack, attack. And you know, that chant was often heard during the Jose Mourinho, Louis van Gaal era, because United simply weren't doing that enough. Now they certainly are. They're on the front foot every time. He wants them to play positive, aggressive football, and that's what they're doing. That's always been in United's tradition and history. But of course, you know, that while they've had 5 great wins, people will say that that's against opposition that they should have beaten anyway. I'm not sure that in the Jose Mourinho era United would have scored 14 goals in those 5 games. I'm absolutely certain they wouldn't. They probably might have won the majority of those games, but not scoring 14 goals. But of course now on Sunday against Tottenham, this is the moment of destiny for Ole, and we will see how far United have come. I still think there are limitations within that squad that will probably be exposed by Tottenham on Sunday at Wembley. But listen, who knows? You know, United have had a break in Dubai the last few days. They've had some warm weather training, more bonding time with their new interim manager. So really, they've got sort of nothing to lose really by going to Wembley and having a go.
Is it patronising to call it just a change in mood?
No, I don't think so, because I think that was what was needed. Anybody that had been around the club and around the training ground knew that the mood wasn't good. There was an air of kind of negativity about the place, which for a team in a club like Manchester United is just not good enough. And I think that there was a realisation there, particularly after the defeat to Liverpool, that something had to change. And you know, fair play to Ed Woodward and the Glazer family. They saw that and they took decisive action. And I think it's been, as we've seen in the last few weeks, that's been justified.
How much has your opinion changed of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a Manchester United assistant caretaker coach to his appointment to now?
Well, he's certainly not doing himself any harm if he wants the job long term. I mean, obviously that question's going to be asked more and more, particularly as United, obviously, the mood has changed and the team is winning. So that question will become more relevant as time goes on. Do United need to look for another manager? Quite ironic on Sunday that the manager that they're said to be looking at very closely is Pochettino. And obviously we know in the last few days Pochettino has come out and made some sort of contradictory comments really. At one point he's saying that, you know, he's frustrated by the financial constraints that are put in place on him by Daniel Levy, but then in another breath he says he can see him being there a long time, many years at Tottenham. So it's difficult really to get to the truth of the matter. I'm sure he's quite flattered to be linked with Manchester United, and if he is their #1 target, you know, that's a great thing for him to be considered as.
To put you on the spot, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was announced as the caretaker manager, could you see him doing the long-term job then, and can you see him doing it now?
No, I couldn't see him, Carrie, being sort of put in the frame for a permanent position. Can I now? Most definitely. You know, I've seen it said by some pundits recently, and ex-United players, do we have to have a big-name manager? Do you have to have a Guardiola, a Klopp, a Mourinho? Why not go for somebody who knows a club inside out like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? He's lived through, Solskjaer in his time at United lived through probably the greatest era the club's known since the Busby days. So he knows how the club works, he knows how it ticks. He's been brought up with the traditions and the heritage that Sir Alex Ferguson instilled in the club when he first went there in 1986. So if there's anybody better qualified, well, probably isn't anybody better qualified than Solskjaer to do that job. Of course, reservations that he'd come from Molde in Norway, kind of a league that maybe you would associate with League One, League Two in the UK. But certainly, if you're looking at a manager who's got a man management style, then it's a positive one for him, because Jose clearly had so many conflicts and fights and rows with certain players that in the end it just unravelled. It was a toxic atmosphere, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, clearly, clever guy that he is working hard on bringing a feel-good factor back in that dressing room, and telling players like Pogba, like Martial, like Rashford, like Lukaku, you're good players, let's go and produce that. And there was one lovely picture that Marcus Rashford produced on Twitter from the trip to Dubai, when he was sat in a circle with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and 2 or 3 of the United strikers, and that was fantastic. Could never imagine Jose Mourinho sitting with his players, getting up close and personal with them and having that kind of bonding.
Crucially, the big problem with Manchester United, though, has been defence. Ole, of course, we know knows everything about forward offensive playing. He was an absolute stunner of a player. But how much have Manchester United got to be credited for the coaching team they put together, and how much has that solidified them?
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, it's not all down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think bringing back Mike Phelan into the club was a huge plus. I think many people were very sad to see him go. I think one of the criticisms you could perhaps level at David Moyes when he took over was that he swept out all the know-how, all the knowledge, all the intelligence of how to win titles was gone in an instant when he took over. I'm not sure he needed to actually make such sweeping changes, and I think United have suffered because of that, because it got rid of the link between Alex Ferguson and the current day squad. Listen, you know, nobody wants to live in the past, but I think with Manchester United, there's certainly there should have been a desire to keep that link, which Mike Phelan's brought. Now, what I'm hearing from the training ground is that he's active on behind the scenes and on the training ground with training sessions and drills, and he's playing as much as a part as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But obviously, it's Ole who's getting the headlines.
So, congratulations to Mike Phelan for an emphatic return as well. And then this puts the question, we've seen already what Pochettino has done and how he's brought together a group of players. He has stabilised. We've seen even recently with Sarri that he had a great start, didn't he? And then that's pulled back somewhat. So with Ole still needing to be tested with Pochettino's track record, this is a very significant match.
Oh, it is, yeah. And to be honest, if you're looking at head to head there, Pochettino's miles ahead, isn't he, of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? But Solskjaer won't be afraid of that. He knows he's got players and a squad capable of going to Tottenham and performing really well. Obviously, Pochettino, he's kind of well entrenched in Tottenham now, isn't he? They play in his style. He always has them on the front foot. They play attractive football. He's got that winning formula, albeit that he hasn't actually won a title yet. I think that's coming. There's no doubt about that. But this will be a serious test for Ole and his players. And not just Solskjaer as well. The players have got to step up. The last time they played at Spurs at Wembley, they performed poorly. People may remember that was the day when Pogba's relationship with Mourinho was really brought sharply into focus. So there are a lot of Manchester United players that need to step up to this challenge.
We have to look to the title race, and what a Christmas break it's been, and a race to the very end. Ultimately, do you think it's between these two, and has Pep, now the pragmatist, adapted just as a championship winning mentality manager has to?
Yeah, I think so. It's not often Pep Guardiola kind of tweaks his philosophy or even diverts 1 millimetre from it, but I think we saw in the games, both games in fact this season with Liverpool, he has actually made tweaks to the way his team played. He did that at Anfield when they got a 0-0 draw. They weren't as kind of on the front foot and aggressive as they often are. They were slightly more cautious, and again against Liverpool the other week when they won and blew the title race wide open again, I think City did manipulate the game slightly in terms of giving their opponents some respect, because that was a game City couldn't afford to lose. Pep admitted that himself afterwards, and they didn't. And I think that race now will go right to the wire. Whether Tottenham can actually break into that duo and make some significant inroads. I'm not quite so sure. I think the two teams are stronger than Tottenham at the moment, but I wouldn't write Tottenham off.
This weekend then a clear indicator of where we could be, whether it could be a 3-horse race or not.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Tottenham definitely need to beat Manchester United to stay in that challenge. The intriguing thing about this now is that each weekend, Liverpool, City, Tottenham, they know they cannot lose. There's no margin for error now, because whoever slips up, it's quite possible that the other team will take advantage.
I know we were talking just ahead of Christmas about who could possibly be the footballer of the year with the Football Writers Association, one of our Blue Ribbon events. And even already we were starting to talk 2 months ago about Manchester City running away with it. So dare you pick a player?
Well, I think for at the moment you would have to say Virgil van Dijk stands out as maybe the outstanding contender this season. He's certainly the outstanding candidate from Liverpool in my eyes. Usually we go for a striker. I'm not sure in FWA history if we've ever had a footballer of the year in recent times who's been a defender, but I think you could make a real big argument and a case for Van Dijk, so far at least, being the man who would be a worthy winner of that award.
Harry Kane, Golden Boot and breaking Tottenham records.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry, you can't ignore what he's done both for England in the summer, and obviously he's carried it on again this season. But for Liverpool to have come from where they were to be in a position to challenge for the title, I know we're still only in January, so that could all slip away. But I think Van Dijk, the way he has galvanised the team, a defence that was leaky. The weak point, the point that all opposition used to focus on, he's kind of shored up the defence brilliantly, and I see, when I go to Liverpool, I see his influence on other areas of the team as well, not only the goalkeeper but also the midfield players. He is their leader. They've been crying out for a leader since Steven Gerrard left, and he, for me, looks to be the outstanding leader in the Premier League at the moment.
Well, you are backed by Ian Rush, who said he should be made captain, and then all glory could come to Liverpool. Let's see if this is the case. Thank you so much for your insights.
Pleasure.
And particularly for the mullet. Love a mullet. Thanks very much for watching the review. Bye-bye.
Thank you.